So maybe we're going live. Uh, come on, YouTube. Are you seeing anything on your end of the universe?
Um, I'm not looking at YouTube because that distracts me. Let me go take a look. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I just need some verification that this is actually working.
Yeah, indeed. There we go. Eric's table. Live stream live.
I've made a lot of memories out on the road
It's
in
an
this
advertisement.
RV. Now it's time for someone else's turn.
I bet you're making dozens of dollars on the
Oh
advertisements.
my gosh.
There we go.
I'm
Eric's
making
table.
pennies. My son had
Live
started
stream
a.
live. Yeah,
So
it's working.
it is working. Okay, good.
It
Yeah.
is working.
If anybody is commenting, I can't see the comments for whatever reason. YouTube is being problematic, and it's too early in the morning for me to try to figure out why. So that is what we say is that. So if anyone is writing in, I apologize. I can't see your comments at the moment. Maybe if I could pull
Oh,
up the video, maybe I can see what's going on. Nope, those are just past videos. Come on. Video. Oh well.
there we go. I've got nothing in chat.
Nothing in chat. Yeah, we usually don't have too many people tuning in anyway, so but I can't even see what's going on in the chat. Oh well.
Come on, Europe. Come on.
Hey, it's, somewhere it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. All right. Well, we are back at beautiful Eylau. This is the Eylau 1807 from our friends at Sound of Drums Games. And this particular uh, scenario that we're playing is the one that is the Battle for Night Quarters. And we are what? In the starting of the second turn or partway through the second turn?
We are in the second turn, so we are yeah, so we're here in turn 3. I think we started on technically on turn 2.
Yeah.
And just looking at this, I got the reinforcements up here. So it is 3 p.m. 3 p.m.
Okay.
So this is the this is the second turn.
Okay. And it looks like the fire cube has been pulled, and I've had a couple of activations for the 8th Division and for Bagavoo's group. Um, let's see if I can pull up the French. The French have had about 4 activations. Some of the cavalry has moved. The 2nd Division of the 4th Corps has used up all of its potential activations.
That is correct.
Yeah. So we've got some stuff in the bucket.
Yeah. So I concur. I have 4 activations. 3 were with the 2nd Division 4th Corps and the 1 with the 4th Corps Cavalry.
Yep.
So I've got 2 activations left, and I've got 2 units to bring onto board.
Okay. Well, let's go grab something from the bag, see what we get. It says there's 3 cubes remaining.
So I
just
anticipate 1
grabbed
green.
a green one.
Most excellent.
Yeah. Now I have no idea if we've had 3 in a row or not. I can't remember.
We have not. I'm pretty sure I was the last person to move.
Okay. All right. Then what I will do is I will give this one to Markov. That will be their first activation. So they've got all of their fun movement potential. And let's see. Where are we going to park those guys? So if they're in line and they want to turn, it's going to cost them a point each. So it might be easier to just change them into column. So I'm over here. So they just changed the column. That's 1. And then they can move and turn a little bit. And I got to remember which buttons to use. So that's 2. And that's going to be 3. And then 4 turns them back into line. All right, I think that worked. Let's see. These guys are already in column. And what are those guys? Those guys are in line. All right, so with Mr. Markov, we'll do the same thing. We're going to turn them into, I'll leave Markov here for the moment. We will have them go into column. That's 1. There's 2. There's
Technically,
3.
it's the other way around because you're leaving a built-up area, so you got to go 1 out in general order and then convert to column. But it's the same difference.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for reminding me of that, because
I always have problems with that. I want to have formations in towns, and you can't.
yeah. Well, and they don't have a so that would be, I guess, 2 to move there, right? 1 for moving out and 1 for changing formation.
No, when you move out, I think you automatically go into a formation, so you're good. So you're at 2 right now.
Good morning. What are you
Hey,
guys?
good morning, David. We are playing Eylau, 1807. Yeah, yeah. So we're up early in the morning here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Matt is up in Oregon, and I'm, of course, here in beautiful Southern California. So
We're bracketing the West Coast.
exactly.
Okay.
But this is
All
so.
right.
But Matt is a farmer, literally, not just
Okay.
figuratively. And so this is a time that he's awake.
All right.
So
Well, I had to go up and do all my chores already this morning.
oh my
So-
God! So you've been up even earlier than this.
Yeah, well, my chores are pretty meager. We don't have that many things, so it was
Okay.
easy.
Yeah, I just kind of turned on. I'm getting ready for work here, and I said, Discord's open over here, and I've seen there's somebody on. I thought, Eric, what are you doing at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Well, so this this is this game that came out, or well, I guess earlier this year, and Michael and I tried to play it at Consim,
Right.
without too much success. The rules were still very, very rough, for want of a better
Right.
word. And so they've come out with a new release, of course, after Consim, version 1.4, and then Matt has been playing this. Well, I don't know. You said with a few people, right?
Yeah, I have 5 or 6 virtual opponents I've been playing with.
Yeah. So he is able to explain the rules and kind of guide me through it. So I'm getting a better sense of how it works. And of course, by live streaming it, then other people can learn how to play this too. So
Yeah.
we're doing
All
a
right.
public service.
All right. Well, enjoy. I will talk to you later.
Yeah. Take care, David. We'll catch you hopefully on Sunday at Zorndorf.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
All right. Now, Matt, I'm curious, with the artillery, Is it the same? It has the same sort of facing as column?
Yes, when it's limbered, it has the same facing as column.
Okay. And does it maneuver the same way as infantry and column does?
Yes, it does. It does not pay a line penalty for moving or for rotating across the
Okay.
spine.
So I can turn there for free, and
And
then
now,
I can move. There's 1,
yep, that's exactly
2,
it. And
3, and
yeah,
unlimber or whatever, for example.
exactly. And you
Okay.
get the free facing changes during the move, one per
Sure,
hex.
sure. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to see if I can get my infantry over there and then try to get the artillery parked in the right place. All right. So these guys, let's go ahead and get them into column. So there's 1 and there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 gets them back into line, except I don't want all of them there. I'll have that guy there, and then this guy can go 1, 2, 3, and then he can unlimber, and voila, we have a line to face you.
That's good.
All right, and then I will move Mr. Markov right there, I guess. Well, I could put him right here. That way then everybody's set. Okay, cool. That was my exciting activation. We go back to the bag, I guess. You go ahead and grab one.
Okay. I've never worked with a game with activations before. This is all new for me, so I'm very excited by this.
Well, and it seems to be working as far as how the, how Discord works. I mean, not Discord, but Vassal. It seems to be working fine. It's not unlike the chit pull type of mechanism that we have with most of the Labatai Vassal modules.
I kind of finished up with Advanced Squad Leader when I graduated university back in like 1842.
Oh, okay.
And so I haven't progressed in game design since then. All right, so second dragoons with Grouchy. This is going into the second dragoons.
Now, are they already on the map, or are they new reinforcements?
They are not. They will be entering. So I'm going to grab them now.
And they come on that same road area in that ballpark?
They come on within 10 hexes of the road here.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, right about there.
So they're going to come in.
Yeah, when I initially deployed my troops, I had thought the French were coming in there by Freiheit.
Yes.
Yeah, and so because when I had tried to play it, a little sample scenario or whatever it was when I first got the game, when you read of the road to Freiheit, you're like, oh, well, there's Freiheit and there's the road.
Yes, I agree. It's confusing. The problem here is that this board is not actually wide enough. It needs to go another 15 hexes over to the east, the west, right?
Right.
Yeah, because the Russians were withdrawing from a position further along. And in reality, this battle was a little bit different than laid out because Barclay de Tolly and Bagavou was retreating, and Bagavou came to support his retreat. And the main point of the retreat was to move those heavy artillery pieces back to the artillery reserve from their initial contact. So when they came through Eylau, if you look at a map, the road to the southwest from Eylau is where the Russians were retreating from and where the French were
pursuing. Okay.
Yes. And then the road up here, they had like one little, outlying thing. And that's what people complained about, and that was clarified by Uwe, I think, before I even got involved. So this is actually the correct road, the one that runs southwest from Eylau.
Right. Well, the reason why it was doubly confusing for me is with the La Bataille de Eylau, which I've played many, many times. They have this same scenario, but they have the French coming in at Freiheit. Um, and so that's why I thought, well, this is where it's coming in for the La Bataille. Why would it be any different?
Well, maybe the Labatai folks are right. They're no slouches,
Well,
but
I'm
just
not.
based on the map.
It's. I'm not sure, entirely sure, because the game itself was designed in what? Um,
Late 80s, I think.
no, that one was designed in the 70s. That was a Marshall Enterprise game originally. It was actually published by Marshall Enterprise, and then Ed Wimble with Clash of Arms republished it several times. So they're in the process of putting together a new Eylau game, um, and this particular one is they're like coming up with new research to update things that they did not um, come across the first time.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So it could be. I will have to check with the fellow who's kind of helping shepherd that program along to see if he's got any information or if he's bothered to look at where things are coming in for this particular scenario. So I
It's
know that
it's
they
pretty
updated a lot of the counters and everything else for the Russian guns and even for the French guns. Um, so they've been making some changes because the order of battle and some other details are different from what it was originally.
If you go onto Wikipedia, that canonical ex cathedra source that is never wrong, there is a map, and the only map they give of the battle is this scenario really, and it's the original. It's in Russian, drawn out well sometime before the revolution because it has the old characters in it,
Right.
and it's an interesting map to look at. And it also brings up another issue that when playing this game, there's a real tendency to try and get your cavalry on the flanks, which you may have noticed I'm trying right now,
Right.
to go and cut off this Russian Fourth Division from providing support. But in reality, on this ridge right behind Eylau was the entire Russian artillery
Yeah.
all lined up, and all the cavalry and all the infantry. So it looks like it's an empty rear area. It's not, it's packed.
Yeah.
So there's the variant that they're working on, not Sound of Drums, but one of the other users to limit the scope, so you can't go too far to the east or too far to the north. It would make it more realistic, but not as good a training scenario because you should just worry about moving things around in this one. This is where you learn. All right, so that's the end of my draw. So go ahead and take a draw.
All right. Give me a second here. Google has now sent me something. Come on, Google, work with me.
Google and Skype have been messing around with me with security too recently. So I think that maybe they've got some kind of an update.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it's just like, oh, please. It's too early in the morning for me to be messing around with all of this
But
stuff.
not farming. I work in this industry, and let me tell you, if there's a security update, you want it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just so random because I had
It
just
is.
done a live stream on Monday. It didn't ask me any questions. And then suddenly it's like, oh, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's ask you a question, Eric. I'm like, oh my gosh. You know, Okay, cool. Hey, we've got 6 people viewing. I can now actually
that's
see
great.
what's going on. Hooray.
Good.
Okay. Well, now if anyone has any comments or questions, you can post them and I'll be able to see them and actually respond. So, all right, let's grab a chit. It is the last chit, and it's a French chit. It's a French cube.
Let's get the French chit
Getting
out onto the board.
French cubism here.
I love art. There we go. So this is going to be the
First
it's the first of the
Dragoons
third division. Hold on. It is the third division.
of the Dragoons.
There we go.
Oh, infantry division. Okay.
Yep. There should kind of be an off-board holding box, and there's not.
Yeah, it doesn't really quite have the
box
order
top
of
sitting by the
battle
board.
chart. It doesn't really have the order of battle chart that actually comes with the game.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
Yeah, it
Yep.
just kind of has
I don't like
this,
that.
you know, abbreviated one. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. I mean, it doesn't cost anything more to put the full order of battle chart. You know,
No, it does.
it's
I
not
think
like
it was just
it's not like it's taking up. It costs us an extra electron or something like that.
yeah. Electrons died to make this.
There you go.
Yeah. So these guys are all off board, and so this is the first one coming in. So he's going to come in 1. Did I flip all these into? I want to flip all of these into. So one get this one, this one, this one, this one, this one into column. Okay, so they're coming in column. Sorry about that. So
No, that's understood.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then these guys are going to line up right next to him. Well, I can't take the next one. So let's go here and here. And then that's going to be less. That's going to be 4. That's a 5, 6, 7. So this guy probably couldn't have made it there either. I should have counted individually. My bad. They're going to have to come in next to it because they can't come in the same. So there. Okay, we're done. French are on the board. And
Now,
that's the last
do
activation.
you want to put your leader somewhere where people are going to be in command?
That's a real good call since he can come in all at once. There we go.
Yeah. So, and I was also curious. I see that you've got your light units and heavy units stacked together. Does it make any difference or?
Well, it really doesn't. It's just a matter of movement. And I've got my light units together on one of these guys. There, these two. So I could have swapped them around, but the light units are a little bit smaller, so this kind of works to equalize my stacks
Okay.
in combat power. There's not a difference really between the chasseurs and the infantry, the musketeers, fusiliers. So I don't know that it makes a difference. I try and keep divisions together, but I don't always. So
Okay. Now I was just curious if there was some secret tactic that I was not aware of. Somewhere on the board there was a plus something for
No, it's not that granular, I'm
okay.
afraid. It'd be interesting if there was some kind of a benefit from moving your light troops in first or something, but
Well, I mean, I think we might have discussed this, when we talked about it before, but uh, at least from what I can see, the they've kind of they don't have any skirmish units like with
yeah,
skirmish of
precisely.
yeah, and so the fact that the Russians have to pay more to move into the zone of control of the French kind of simulates the cost of them pushing the French skirmishers back,
Hmm.
um, type of thing. So yeah, it's interesting. Okay, well, cool. So that was what's left in the bag, right?
Yep, that's it for the turn.
Okay.
So if because my screen is not going out live, if you would be so good as to open up the bag and put it on the screen,
Yep.
then we can reset that bag and show what that looks like.
Okay. And you've got a button somewhere that you're going to press, or I can
Got a
press.
button. The button is
Is it the one that says move all AC back to the activation board?
it's exactly that one.
So it's the one that has a picture of the bag.
Picture the bag with the down arrow. My little design element for reset is that down arrow.
Okay.
Since there wasn't one, I put that in. So everything that's a reset has that.
All right. And we could, I
Yeah.
guess, hit the refresh cavalry.
We can
All
hit the refresh cavalry.
right. Is there
We can
anything
hit the clear
else?
smoke.
Clear smoke. Well, I don't think
We
we
don't
weren't
have any.
using smoke. Yeah.
And we can undo the unit activation. Now the unit activation is that little red border that goes around them.
Right. Okay.
Right? So we're all back to normal. So the bag actually, you have to drag all these guys literally onto the little center of the bag. If you drag it to the side,
Yeah.
they'll make me a
They'll
liar.
joke
There you
back.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I do is I just kind of stack them, and then I'd grab the stack and drop the stack. But it doesn't matter. Just get them in there.
Yeah. Now, on some of the, um, particularly with the battles of Age of Reason, where they have leaders that get flipped over as you go along, with finished markers, stuff like that, they just have a single button that's called end of turn. And
Wouldn't
so
that be great?
you hit that one button, it then flips all the leaders back to their, uh, presentation side, and it
Hmm.
takes all the finished markers off, and it basically does, all of that sort of housekeeping stuff, but it's just one button.
Yep.
Um, but I know that with the smoke, that's only happening during the fire phase. But the
Exactly.
cavalry refresh, that happens only at the end of the turn.
Correct.
And the stuff moving back to the bag, that happens at the end of the turn. Are there any other end of turn things
I
that?
think there's just those three. I think there's the two. I think it's the cavalry and the refresh. Smoke could happen anytime.
Right,
You
yeah, that's
can
going to
take it off
happen
after the
anytime
fire.
you've got the fire cube gets pulled.
Yep. And then the unit activation, same deal. So uh, I would love to have, in fact, now I'm going to go look at it because I need that functionality for a different set of games I'm working on in Vassal. So I will go work on that.
Okay. Yeah, it just something to think about. Yeah, it's in the Battles of the Age of Reason modules. They have that feature, where it does that. Curious with the smoke, it's not really a factor here, but I know in the other games or the other battles that they're developing, they are looking at that as a where the smoke marker might stay there throughout the whole turn.
Yeah, if you notice, if you put a smoke marker on something and then put a smoke marker again, or it increments. It goes from smoke one to smoke two, which has no meaning in Eylau, but I think it will elsewhere. I think this is a winter battle and it's precipitating regularly, so I don't think. There you go. So this would be different than Albuera or something like that, where you might have a lot of smoke obscuring the world.
Right. Yeah. In which case, then you would need to keep the counters there um, for who knows how long.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
All right. So now we go back to issuing orders, or I
Well,
don't know.
first of all, I did actually change the turn marker.
Oh, you
I
did.
don't know if you
Okay.
noticed that. So we're now on turn 4, or
Okay.
we're on the 4 o'clock turn.
The 4 o'clock turn. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think
And
we
then
end at the 6 o'clock turn. So we have 1, 2, 3 turns left. So we've got 2 down, 3 to go.
Right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So now we would do whatever we do with our orders.
Right. But we're going to have to expend army fatigue points to change things. Right.
Well,
so
we would have to spend army fatigue points anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just not in this scenario as written in the book, because just to refresh people who are watching, we're using the fatigue points to kind of make this a little bit more interesting.
Right. Now, I have a question for you with the with the orders. I think the subtlety in the system is the orders. You've got like 6 or 8 different types of orders that you can make. And so trying to figure out which one deserves which one is something that I haven't quite figured out yet. So obviously, if you're making any sort of if you want to do any sort of fighting, you have to have an attack order, right?
Yes.
But there doesn't seem to be any. That seems to be the only order that you can give if you want anything to ever attack.
Yes.
Which seems really odd to me. Like, I mean, there's no like local counter defense or anything like that.
The only orders you can use where you can move are attack or strategic move. Defend lets you move 1 hex, but not next to an enemy. So you can dress a line, basically. That's it. So if you want to move, it's got to be one of the two, and those are big expenditures. They give you a lot of initiative, but they're expenditures of fatigue. The next one that I think of is regroup, and regroup is pretty much you're out of the line of battle. If you've pulled a division back, regroup's great, and at the end of your turn, you get a number of steps back.
Right.
Then there's hold, and hold is if you're in a spot, you can hold it, but you still get some units back at the end, although it's fewer than regroup. And then defend is the best one for you at this point. And defend lets you get a +2 on all of your defensive rolls. So it's very much worth doing, but you can't do anything offensive with it. Unless it's like one of these kind of set and pick things. If you have a division, you could move it out 1 turn, set it in defend just to hold up a bunch of French units coming, right? But in the turn, you can't change the order, so you got to pick ahead. My default is attack if I'm on attack and defense if I'm on defense. But defense does make you not move, so you can't respond to things very well, right? So if, for instance, France, if you were in defend and I broke your left wing here, you wouldn't be able to redress that very well at all, right? So that could become catastrophic.
Yeah. So because you could only move 1 hex.
Yeah.
Right. And so that then becomes very challenging how to save yourself in some way, shape, or form. But you do get that +2. So I guess the idea is that you're less likely to lose. Is that what they're thinking?
Yes, you're less likely to be pushed back.
Right. Okay.
And since it's mostly on a stack by stack basis, plus or minus a little bit, you were talking about messing up a line there, but not really destroying it, unless it were just a really lucky move. So defense is a good one to hold on to, and I think it's the best one for the Russians. Well, actually, for Bagavu's division, which is a real pain because Bagavu's also the only cavalry. But
Yeah, that's what
if
I
we
was
could,
looking at. I'm like, okay, if I give him a defend order, that's good for the infantry. That's kind of there defending the perimeter of the town. But then the downside is the cavalry can't attack. Um, and so that doesn't work so well.
nope,
So,
it's not a winner. I've tried it both ways, and what I generally do is I set up the Hess's division differently than you did, and I generally move that and then give it a defend order. But I didn't hear, and I put Markov in a defend usually. But Markov often doesn't get engaged terribly heavily, partially because it's generally cavalry that comes up that side, and cavalry can't enter the cemetery. So do your worst. I'll laugh. I'll throw coins. I'll eat popcorn.
right.
So
Okay. Cool. Good to
yeah,
know. All
just a
right.
strategy.
So
Right.
here,
So let's change our orders.
yep. Uh, so right now, Markov was under attack. 8th Division was under the attack. Bagavu was under defend. We tried to change it, but we couldn't because we don't have an army leader, so we have to make a roll for their initiative.
So yeah, these are I am going to have to roll two. I don't think there's a corps commander on here, and I don't think we should play with corps commanders because these are all divisional commanders. We should be going with that.
Yeah. So if it's a case where we wanted to change, if we wanted to change maybe Essen to defend, I'd have to roll a 7 or less. Is that correct? I have to roll less
That's
than what
correct.
their number is. Okay, well, we'll see if we can do that. And it's just on 1 die or 2 dice? It's got to be on 2 dice.
It's on gosh, it's on 2 dice.
Yeah, because we're using 6-sided dice. I rolled an 11, so he's still on attack orders. And let's see. Let's see if we can do the same thing with Markov, maybe. Change him. He's got to roll an 8 or less. A 10. Nope, they're still on attack orders, too. Nobody wants to change what they're doing. Yeah, and then we'll keep Bagavu on defense, I guess. So that's going to cost us 2, 4, 5 cubes for our expenditure, and that gets us an initiative of 8. I think you're going to still have a better initiative. And we send the cubes to the common pool. So we have spent our little points for that. So that's it for the Russians. On the French side,
Oh, on the French side, we're hurting. I've got a lot of divisions, and I've got 2 more coming in. That's the last 2 I've got. But it means that if I want all these guys to have the attack orders that I want to give them, I'm going to lose 24 fatigue points. And that's way more than half of what I have left, although you shouldn't know that.
24. I don't see how you have 24.
6 times 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, the fatigue points only cost 2. It's the +4 is your initiative.
Oh, yeah, you saved my life. Thank you. I was going to really do a number on me.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be 10, 11, 12. So right now, the way you have things set up, it would cost you 12 fatigue points.
No problem then.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, and you
That
definitely
I was
have
looking
you
at the wrong
definitely
column.
have the initiative.
Yeah. And I do not want to change anything.
Okay.
Yep.
So the crosshairs are moving. The 1st Division 2nd Corps is moving. And then the other guys are on attack. Everybody else is on attack from the looks of it. Have you brought the 2nd crosshairs in?
Nope, they're coming in this turn.
Okay. And then this other corps that you have moving, have they come in yet?
They have not come in.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Well, then that makes sense. And I guess with the way we're playing it, you can select which, for the reinforcements, you can select which one you want to do.
Yeah, I think that technically they probably should come in on move or strategic move, but I don't like to be limited when I come in because it's not necessarily fair for me to run into a bunch of Russians right as I came in. If you had set up Essen over here, which is within 6 of the border, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think you can set up Essen this far west.
Right.
You know, my corps would come like right on and have to stop and do something else. And then you'd have a chance to counterattack and do a lot of real damage to me just coming on the board.
Right.
So
Okay.
in the as written rules, it says bring them in. Everything is in attack order. So everything in mine is attack order except the 2 divisions that are moving on now. And the reason they're coming in move order is because they're not in jeopardy. They're coming in behind an existing line. So I
Right.
want them to move.
Okay. So you've got the initiative. So there is a little cube sitting there that I grabbed out of the bag for you.
So hello, blue. Okay. Now let me drag this out. Zoom in. Gotta zoom in. It's going on the 1st Dragoon Division.
Okay. Is that Grushi?
That is no,
No,
that
he's the
is
2nd. 1st
Klein.
Dragoons, Klein.
1st Dragoon is Klein. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. Sometimes I end up moving these guys in directions where it's like I feel like Monty Python passing wind in your general direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. I present my rear. Ha! Again.
Well, and in theory, these units, while they look like they're in line, are actually have the same facing and everything else as if they were as infantry in column.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't work. Let's go here.
Now, in theory, I could have, when you moved within 4, could have put these guys in square.
Absolutely, you can.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to, not that I wanted to, but for the purposes
Yep.
of teaching people.
Yep. The there's a little bit of a ambiguity in the rules here. I know you hate to hear that, but the rules say that when you come 4 hexes away from cavalry, or when you come 4 hexes away from infantry, the infantry has an opportunity to form a square. But under 4, it has to roll. So my question was, what if the cavalry is sitting on this side of a hill quietly, and your infantry is sitting here on this side of the hill quietly, right?
Right.
Does your infantry get a chance to form a square when I move here? And the answer is no, you have to roll for it. So it's not a 4 hexes and insight, it's 4 hexes.
Right.
Actually, it's 4 hexes and insight, but less than 4 hexes and insight doesn't count. You don't get an automatic.
Right.
So in this case, you saw them the whole way. So you saw them 4 hexes away. All those guys should be able to square if they want to.
Yeah. All right. I guess we go back to the bag. Oh, it's the fire chit, our favorite.
All right.
So, you've got a few guns deployed. I've got some guns deployed. So we'll start here at the top of the map. I guess the one that's got a line of sight is this one here.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
these guys, 1, 2, 3, they can fire on, say, that hex there. So at a range of 3, they're times 2, so that's going to be 4. And we're not in snow. You're not artillery. You are in column, so there's going to be a +2 on the die roll. That is it. So it's just a +2 from the looks of it. Okay, well, let's
I think
roll.
it's a 4 + 2.
Yep, here we go. An 8 becomes a 10. So that's
That
enough
should be
for a
1.
single hit.
Here we go.
All right, then we move down and we've got your guns here from the looks of it.
All right. So I think I have a good line of sight from here to here, but I need your opinion.
What's the question?
Is that line of sight fair with the hill? I think it is. I think I'm higher elevation and the change in elevation is closer to me, so I should be able to see you.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to fire 2 and I'm at 1, 2, 3. So 3 is again times 2, I think. Yeah.
Yes. So you're going to be on the 4 chart.
4 chart, and you are not in column.
So I am not in column, but I am. So are you like shooting at my infantry, or are you shooting at the stack? How does that work? Because I've got, it says target is artillery -3, but I always thought that was like artillery all on its own.
I think that's artillery all on its own.
Okay.
You might decide it's granular enough that your elite batteries can go shoot just at the other batteries at that negative modifier. But I think that I would be shooting at the infantry unit in the hex, not the artillery.
Right. Yeah. So okay. So you're just on the 4 chart. No
yeah, and
pluses,
that's also
no minuses.
why technically I think in the rules it also mentions the unit on top is what takes losses. So generally I stack my infantry when I'm playing solo. I stack my infantry on top of my artillery just to remind me. But when we're playing with people, you forget that you have artillery there, so you want to have them on top. So
yeah, that's why I put them on top. Well, plus in La Bataille, your artillery, whatever unit's firing has got to be on the top.
yeah, okay, so it makes total sense.
Yeah, right. So that's how I got it.
Great. So I'm going to roll that, and it's a 4 straight up, and I got a 2, which is nothing. My guns might have blown up.
Poof, poof.
Poof, poof. And that's it for fire, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
You, of course,
then I've got these guys here. They can fire, and they've got a line of sight down this way towards these ponies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they are just times 1, so that's going to be 4. And I don't think there's any modifiers.
There is.
Oh, what's the modifier? Oh, I'm
You're
heavy artillery. Okay, so +1. Okay, well, here we go. Let's roll the dice and see what we get. An 8 + 1 is a 9 at 4. That should do one. That's enough for a hit. Chip 1 off. All right, then I've got some other guys, but I don't know that they can see. Well, these guys, I guess, could, I don't know, could they see this guy here?
I would normally say no, just because how I was brought up, but I think that the specific rule is that if the intervening elevation is equidistant between the two, there is a line of sight.
Okay, yeah, because otherwise I know these other units are too far back. So,
most definitely.
Yeah, but I don't know that I could hit you anyway. It's 1, 2, 3. So I'd be on the 4 chart. I'd have a -3 because you're only artillery. So on the 4 chart, if I rolled a 12, -3, 1, 2, 3, well, I could, I guess, get one hit on you. So I have to roll a 12 for it to make any difference. And I do not. All right. These guys, though, have got a pretty clear line of sight on those guys. And they are at a range of 2, so they're ×2. So that's going to be on the 4 chart. And I don't think there's any other modifiers at the moment. So
Don't think
just roll
so.
the dice and see what we get. A 9. That's
That might
good
be
for
one.
another hit.
Yep.
Not going to be much left of those poor guys here in a minute.
No. But now this is kind of one of the gamey things. There are modifiers in Assault, especially in the stand checks, where you get -2 if there's enemy cavalry within, I believe it's 3 hexes. We have to look at the chart.
Right.
So even a cavalry unit with 2 points or 1 point kicks in that modifier. So you don't actually have to use him as combat troops. He's just like an observer that affects the odds.
Yeah. Well, and because you can't stack him with anybody, he can't do anything
Yep.
really worthwhile. So that would be the thing there. All right. And then I've got one last piece of artillery out here on the end, and we'll have him fire on these chaps here, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that I miss is not having modifiers for the size of his stacks. You've got these big, huge, regimental size groups of troops, and there's
you
like,
pay for it.
well, there's no modifier, right?
And of course, there is in Labatai.
Yeah, exactly.
In many other games, if you're quote overstacked.
Yeah. You're just a bigger, fatter target. You should be punished for that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. But he's trying to keep the game simple. So that's going to be on the 4 chart, and there's no modifiers.
You're firing on a column, so it's a +2.
Oh, is it in column? Oh, okay. Yep. So +2. Here we go. A 12 +2 becomes a 14. Wow. So that's 2 hits, and what's the little
and an
star?
asterisk. Yep. So which one did you take on this guy? So let's take the 2 hits first. Okay, now we need to go to the stand check because that's what the asterisk indicates. And that's also a possibility of a leader casualty. But there's no leader there.
There's no leader there. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not elite. You're not green. You're not Russian. You're not adjacent to a friendly unit that retreated. You're not in obstructed terrain or in square. There's no enemy cavalry within 3.
Yeah, that's just what I was talking about. And no leader.
Yeah. So you have to roll a 6 or better
6.
from the looks of it, right?
6 better.
Okay.
Yeah.
An 8. So they pass. So if they had failed, then the guys next to them would have had to make a stand check?
Yes.
Okay.
But if they failed,
nobody else would.
Here,
right.
Nobody else would.
Yeah.
It doesn't, cannonball through the lines.
Right. So it makes sense then if I was going to be targeting to try to target. So instead of targeting this unit, target this unit or this unit where there's a potential for some chaos happening.
Yep.
Okay. Good to know.
Exactly. And at the very least, it points out that if I want to leave my troops there to threaten your flank, then they really need to go into line.
Right. So they're not as vulnerable.
Right. But they needed the column to get to where they were.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the fire, you don't have to worry about getting shot again by the stuff because there's only the one fire cube in this scenario, correct?
You're not going to have Dick Nixon to kick around anymore. All right, so let's go.
Only people of a certain age are going to get that joke.
My son said that to me once. I was like, oh man, I'm doing better with you than I thought.
Well, there you go. It's either that or there's a TikTok meme that uses that. You know, that's probably how a lot of old stuff is getting rediscovered or converted. So, all right. Well, that was that little cube. Go ahead. Did you? It looks like you got a French cube. Okay, so the French get to go again.
So I've got the French cube, and I want to bring on my second Cuirassier division. So I'm bringing on the second Cuirassiers. Now, give me a quick second here because I'm just looking up the rules on this. There's a really great section. You can see it in the PDF really easily because the format's the same for each one of these orders. So it's section 12, and it's the full explanation.
Is this for movement or?
Yeah. So units in the division may move, but may not move into a hex adjacent to an enemy unit. Units may fire during the simultaneously fire segment, and a move order gives an army 2 initiative points and 1 AFP. So it's really just a save on.
Yeah, you're just saving on fatigue from the looks of it.
Yep. So we're going to go grab these Cuirassiers. I'm going to put them on here. Okay, so let's move these. Again, it requires me just a little bit of thumbing and hawing. So we're going to go. That's 1, 2. Wait. That was 2, 3, 4, 6. So this one's now got, that's 5, 4 there. This has got 3 there. This one is 7, so he's missing 5, so he moves 2. And doubtful. Okay, done with the Cuirassier movement. So I'm going to draw from the bag.
Okay.
Or was it your turn to draw?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll grab something. It's another French, so that would be then 3 French in a row.
That is the last of the French.
Yep. So it's got to be a Russian no matter what comes up.
Yeah. See, having the traditional army layout or the OOB is nicer because then I can drag them off and put them out as I want. Now I have to drag them someplace and organize them, which is not what I want to do.
Oh, so you're bringing another infantry division on?
Yeah, because it just brings that big stack, and then you got to organize it. But on the regular one, you can pick this unit or that unit or whatever.
Right.
All right, so we're going to go with 3rd Division.
And this is what, more infantry?
Not a lot of this is good. 3rd Division. Third Division, 4th Corps is getting its orders. Okay, so where are we at?
So this is kind of interesting because at some point you're going to have. Wait, I mean, almost already you've got more formations than you have activation cubes, right?
Yes. Yeah. One, 2, 3, 4, 7. And those are both light infantry.
All right. And where are they
2.
at? Oh, where'd they come on?
These are not coming on. These are already on the board.
Oh, okay. Here
this
I
is the
was
3rd
thinking
Division.
they were
And I'm
So,
actually going to move
okay.
that a little differently. I'm going to move that there, and this there, and this there.
Okay.
And then this guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we're good, and I'm going to declare some assaults.
Okay.
So my first assault is going to go from here to here.
Okay.
And then my second assault is going to be from here and here to here.
Okay.
And then from here to here.
Okay. All right.
You know,
We
it's just,
wanted to
it's
do
kind
that.
of a roll of the dice. Maybe it's a gimme. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't expect results here, and I expect results here. I don't here, and it's a toss up here.
Okay. So with you want to just do it from the top to bottom, or what's your thinking?
Let's go top to bottom, and you have defensive fire.
Okay. All right. So the guys in the top are in the village. What's it say here for fire village? Number of units firing is 2. So I've got 2. So I guess what? I'm just on the 2 chart?
You're just on the 2 chart.
Yeah,
And
and it
if
says
there's
it's
more than
times
one,
1, right?
right? And if you wait, it's not a times actually, because that's an artillery only modifier. It's just your points.
Right, no, but it does have infantry fire unit
Oh, right.
is, right? In line times 2, column times 1, obstructed terrain times 1.
Totally
So,
right.
yeah. So it's just 2 points.
There's 2 points, and if you're being charged in 2 hexes, you have to divide that 2 points between the 2 charging hexes.
Right, which means
Assaulting hexes.
Yeah, forget
By the way,
about
they
it.
use charge and assault interchangeably in Eylau land,
Yeah.
which is confusing for people from the Labatai land.
Or any other universe. They
Yeah,
should just call it melee or something like that. Then it's good across the board. So
exactly.
okay, so I'm on the 2 chart. I've got a roll, I guess an 11 or 12 to hit you. No, you've
Yep.
got your.
Oh,
It's
I'm a column.
it's only if artillery is firing at you in column that there's a modifier.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
You're right.
but
You're right.
it's defensive fire, so there's a
Defense
+1
fires
for
is a
that.
+1.
No other modifiers that I can see. Okay, so here we go. We need a 10, 11, or 12. We got a 5, so nothing happens.
Okay.
So now we go to the assault charge table, and defending unit is, they're both veterans, so there's no plus for that. There's a plus for them being Russian. They're under defend orders, so that's another +2, so we're at to +3. They're in an obstructed terrain hex, so that's another +2, so we're up to +5.
Yep.
Yeah, so that looks like all the pluses for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's correct. That
And
I can
then-
see.
Okay, so then we go down to yours. They didn't lose anything due to fire combat. Your guys are not elite, they're just regular. It's not cavalry, it's not tired, it's not heavies, it's not assaulting uphill or downhill. You're not in an obstructed terrain hex. There's no leader present. So it's just a straight up roll with a +5.
That's right.
Okay.
It's going to be pretty bad. It wasn't really well considered, but we're going to do it.
Well, we're doing it for the sake of the audience. That's the way you got to look at it. So when you make a mistake, and when I make mistakes, it's so the audience can learn.
Yeah, it's not quite going to show you now. Well, I could actually change things around, but the way that you crack Russians in defense is with French leadership. So where you got a leader, you can actually make that quite a bit better.
Right.
But in this case, it's not it. So I'm going to roll my dice. And I rolled an 8 plus 5 is way off the top. So I lose a stacking point. So I'm going to go and
So just one increment, right?
just one increment.
Okay.
Now you look here. You'll notice in the 9 or more it says attacker takes 1 SP. In 8, both defender and the attacker take 1 SP. 7 or less, the assaulted units loses 1 SP each.
Right.
So if you lose, I take 1 off of each counter.
There we go. Brian Smith chimes in saying the sacrifice is appreciated. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Brian, I will be crying cardboard tears all day for these men.
There you go. All right. So now we move down to the next hex. And so now it's just the one that's attacking, or 2 are attacking.
Well, I was going to do the 2, but I want to show you the leadership bonus going into a town with multiple hexes attacking here. So let's just take this one guy, and you can see the really stark difference between the results.
Sure.
So this guy is attacking your artillery and your fusiliers.
Okay. Cool.
Or musketeers.
So the guns and the musketeers can fire?
That is correct.
Okay. So the musketeers are in line, so that's going to give them 4 times 2 is 8 points. And then the guns are adjacent, so they are times 4, so that's going to be another 8 points. So that we're at the 16 fire value chart. And you are infantry in column, so that's +2. It's defensive fire, so that's another +1, so it's +3 altogether.
Yep.
Is that correct? Okay, so here we go with a +3. And 11 plus 3.
Oh, it could have been so much.
That's a 14. Ouch. So that's 4
14.
losses and a morale check.
Yep. So 4 losses. If I had taken all of the 2 stacks against that, it would have been a little bit better, I think, because then you would add 8. You would have to divide it up. So
yeah.
So those are made. Now let's go make the check. And I lost. Here we go. So I am not elite. I'm not green. I am not Russian. I am not adjacent to a friendly unit that is eliminated or retreats. The unit is not in obstructed terrain. It is not in a square. There's no enemy cavalry within 3 hexes.
3 hexes,
and there's a leader present. No. So it's just a straight up stand.
So you're trying to do better than a 6 or better.
6 or better. Which, of course, they didn't do.
Well, this is the first time we've had a failed stand check.
That's right. So it's going to affect this unit here. Oh, whoops, that is this unit here.
Yeah.
So it's going to affect both on the side, right? So I need to move him back his full movement. So we go with the movement of the top unit, which is 7. So 1, and don't count terrain.
Yeah,
2,
it's just 7 hexes, right?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, it's like Monopoly. It's back to go. So the deal here with the retreat is a retreat has to move further from the unit that inflicted the casualties.
Right.
It can't move closer to another unit unless it can't do anything else. If it moves adjacent to an enemy unit, it loses a step. And if it runs into one of its own units, it pushes that unit back.
Right.
And then if that unit has artillery, the artillery current reading of that rule right now is that the artillery can push back 1 hex. But if you have to push the artillery back a 2nd hex, then it has to roll to limber.
Right.
And an emergency limber is a 6 or a 4 or higher on horse artillery. And then it's eliminated if it doesn't limber. And then your unit has to keep pushing back the number of spaces needed to clear a path for your unit to retreat.
Right.
Your retreating unit to retreat. Okay. I repeat that because I mess it up all the time. So sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. Let's go up here and let's roll a stand check on him.
So he's going to have a -1 because the friendly unit retreated in proximity to him.
Correct.
Okay.
And he goes 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now this guy. Now I got a leader bonus on this.
So he
So my leader
adds
bonus
in
is
2. So you have a
right
+1 altogether, correct?
total exactly.
Okay.
And he rolled
And
a
so he
7, so he's still
passes.
good.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And so I'm going to take him and him and attack this town.
Attack those guys. Okay. So in this particular situation, I've got a fire value of, well, actually, these guys can fire here, can't they?
Yes, because I forgot all about that. A unit that is next to a unit that is being assaulted can fire at one of the assaulting units.
Okay. So even though I fired defensive fire at these guys because they bugged out, I can now fire at these guys, or is it only people
I've
that
never
weren't?
been in this situation and it's not listed specifically. The rule is pretty much like what I quoted. So it doesn't
Okay.
say you get one well, maybe it does. Let me just check. Because it might be you get one fire. Okay, so defensive fire. Okay, so I'm going to read here. Okay, just looking
Because
through
this
here
was
pretty quick.
something that they added to it. This wasn't part of the original rules. I
I
don't
think you're
think.
right. So that should be in green.
You would think. Okay, so here it says assaulted charged units and units adjacent to the charging units that have not been or will not be assaulted themselves may execute one defensive fire according to the fire combat rules. If the hex is assaulted, charged by several stacks, the defender must split defensive fire.
Okay.
Right.
So yeah, to me that means you get one defensive fire and you've had it.
Yeah, yeah, which makes sense. I basically used all of my fire on that other guy that was assaulting me.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, because otherwise
the
I'd be
play.
kind of double dipping. I blew the
Yep.
other guy away, and oh, now I get to blow you away too. And in theory, you'd think it's all simultaneous. So okay, well, so then I'm on the one chart against
Each
against
hex.
each of these guys, and I will have a +1 for it being defensive fire. So I have to basically roll an 11 or 12 to get a hit on anybody. So we'll just go from top to bottom. So for the first one, nope. And the second one, nope. Okay. So
A
that's
lot
it
of
for
the other
me.
players that I've been playing, we've done it often enough that we don't even worry about figuring out odds until we roll the dice. So
Yeah, we do the same thing in Labatai, but I'm just
yeah,
trying to
no point.
make sure so I don't have all the modifiers like committed to memory yet.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
it doesn't hurt to do that.
All right.
And it's kind of weird how the terminology is for, you want to roll high on the fire, but then you want to roll, you know, where you're trying to roll on the assaults. The defender wants to roll high, the attacker wants to roll low.
I
You're
know. I
like,
think the game designers sometimes just come up with new, confusing ways to create dice combinations.
yeah. Well, and what's
If it's a 1
interesting
or
is
a 12,
that you have, the by using the two six-sided dice, you have this weird sort of bell-shaped curve with the odds for things happening.
yeah, you're
Um,
right. It's
and
7 and then 8 is high and
yeah, and so
13.
you don't have an equal probability of getting a set of numbers on two six-sided die.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with Labatai, the sort of base six system, you roll the two dice, you're as likely to roll a 66 as you are an 11, right? There's no differences. But
That's
with
true.
with this, the chances that you're going to roll a 12 or a 7 are, the odds are completely,
Completely different.
different. Yeah. And so that's why you can't look at it that way. And that's why the plus is, depending on where you are on the chart, can have a big impact because, the getting a +1 or something and you're trying to roll a higher number has a different effect. Okay, so now we're on the assault table. So I'm
Right.
Russian, so that gives me a +1. I'm under a defense order, that's +2. So I'm up to +3. Um, Now I guess I'm being assaulted from more than one hex.
You are.
So that's a -1. So I'm just a +2. I'm in obstructed terrain, so that's +2. So I'm at +4 altogether.
Mhm.
Um, all right, and then we haven't looked at the odds. I'm sure there's probably
Odds
something.
are
What have
4 to
I
1.
got? I've got 6, and you've got
25.
25. Okay, so you're going to have, there's a -3 because of the odds. So with everything that's there, it's a +1 in my favor at this point in time.
Right. And now I'm adding together all of my assaulting charging unit bonuses, and I don't have any except my leadership, which is -2.
Right. So
Now it
now
goes
it's
to
just
minus
a
1 point.
-1 altogether. So now you're going to roll
Right.
with a -1. A 5. So that's going to be a loss for me, correct?
Right.
Okay. And so then both guys have to lose an increment, correct?
Yep. Correct.
Okay. All right. And now they've got to retreat back their 5 hexes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're going to go that way. There's 1. Then I guess the next way would be then to enter this hex where Bagavoo is. The guns there are limbered, so I guess they could move out of the way.
Yes.
Can I push them into any hex? So I could push them
You can,
here or here? Or do they
both
have to
those
get
answers are
pushed back?
yes,
Okay.
but this is a no because you can't put artillery
Yeah, no,
in.
I can't put him
Yeah.
there because there's not a road
So
there.
this is obstructed on a road, which is okay, and this is open terrain, which is okay.
Okay. All right. So
And
we will.
whoa, just one more second. You can't move this guy here because it's not increasing the distance from the units.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and we'll put those guys, we'll park them over here for the moment. So we did that. This guy gets here. Now we've got the same issue. I guess we could go this way, right?
Yep. You're increasing distance.
Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes gets them there.
Right. And then I get to take the hex.
There you
And
go.
I'm going to do that with this guy because I'm in an uncomfortably exposed position to your artillery. And now, of course, I'm not in your frontal arc.
Cool.
Right.
All right.
So that is it for my my move.
All right.
So a mix of results, but you can see that a leader really does attacking from multiple hexes and having a leader allows you to break into a city, into a town.
Well, his +2 goes a long way towards negating the the
The
+2
town.
that the defender has for the town, or the +2 that they have for being on the defensive order. So
Mhm.
cool. All right. Well, interesting. Okay, so that was your 3rd cube in a row. So
Yeah,
now
so
we've
it's
got
got
to
to be
get
yours.
a Russian cube. And hey, we did get a Russian cube. Um, so now I have to figure out what to do with my Russian cube. So I've got some different possibilities. If I wanted to counterattack, um, uh, Bagavoo can't counterattack because he is on a defend order. So he's basically stuck where he's at.
Right. And that 20th Jaeger Regiment right there in Eylau is part of Bagavu's command, so he's on the defense too.
Right, yeah. So he could move forward, but he can't do much of anything else.
Right, one hex. He's got one hex.
Yeah. So if I wanted to do any counterattacking, I'd have to do something with Essen, who is on the attack order and could potentially muster something there. So yeah, so let's give that a try. So let's go ahead. I got to find my cube. I set it off to the side of the board. We'll go ahead and we will plunk that on the 8th Division. And we will see if we can't muster a counterattack against you. And then this is where it's going to be problematic for us because now you've got your bonus. And who have you got there? Oh my God, you've got 16 increments. I don't know if I've got 16 increments left in my army here at this stage.
You do. You've only taken a couple losses.
I know, but they're all spread out.
Which is kind of the point of Eylau. Eylau doesn't, the losses are not actually men gone. They're loss of unit cohesion, men gone, men running,
Right.
out of ammunition. It's a combination.
Yeah.
Whereas with Labatai, I really thought it's like, well, you just size down 100 guys.
Yeah, and that's the way we usually look at it. So just for fun. Well, fiddlesticks. I don't even think I can mount a counterattack. I don't have enough people that can get there. That's the problem. So I don't know that I can really accomplish anything with that. If I give it to Bagavoo, I can only move stuff, and I can't move anything that's into a hex that's adjacent to enemy. So I couldn't put anybody here. I couldn't put anybody there.
Correct.
The best I could do would be to move a couple of people forward. I could change this guy's orientation. Otherwise, he's getting slammed in the flank.
You can change his formation too.
Oh yeah, I could change it to column. Now with that, it doesn't look like that there's any penalty for being in column. I just don't get as much fire out of it.
You don't get as much fire out of it, and in column, there's an extra point to hit with fire. Right, artillery firing on line is +1. Artillery firing on column is +2.
Right. Okay, so I think I will give it to Bagavoo instead.
Actually, hold on, fire. Wait. Okay, that's a French only. French infantry fire against column is a +1, and in line is +0. So that's a French only thing. So that would be good for you in this case. And then in assault, there's a difference as well.
All right, so if I put them in column and then I can rotate them like this, now they're covered on these 4 sides, right?
Yep.
It's all front. Okay, and then I can push this guy 1 forward in the town. What else do I want to do? Okay, well, I will then. I've got this guy I can move here. I guess.
How far did he move? Because he's on a defense.
He just moved 1 hex. He was here and he
Okay.
moved right
Oh,
there,
he was
right?
there. I see.
Yeah.
You just moved them around to figure it out. Yeah, I missed
Yeah,
that
yeah,
part.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So, and then this guy can, I guess, go here and then he can unlimber for what it's worth. So that way, at least he's somewhere exciting. Good, and I think that's about it. Let's see, can I bring up my cavalry? I guess they can all move 1. And then these guys who got pushed back, they can move this turn, correct?
You bet.
Okay, so they can sneak forward 1, what's left of them. And my beautiful cavalry out here can inch forward, I guess. Okay. I guess the best. So, yeah, kind of knowing how to do things, it would make sense to like put the cavalry out here as pickets for future stuff, right? And then you've got to force them back because if they're
But
on
they,
if they're on defense, they can opportunity or reaction charge or whatever it is that they use terminology here. That would be the only time I could attack is if I'm on the defense and you move somebody adjacent to it, then I could pounce on you.
yeah, but the technicality is you have to set up adjacent to Eylau. So your cavalry, even on defense, would be kind of constrained still.
Yeah, yeah. But knowing that, I mean, I could have
Yeah.
put some stuff out here, and then in some of the subsequent turns move them out a hex or 2.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah, it's good to know. It's good to know. Okay, cool. I think that's the best I can do.
I think it's great.
Well, good. I'm glad I have your vote of approval.
Well, you don't need it, but it looks real reasonable to me.
Yeah, well, it's not a lot of other choices. So, okay, back to the bag. It's another green one.
Excellent.
So then that means so basically at this point, Bagavoo can't. Nobody can go in and occupy that hex
Nope,
because we're
you
all on
can't go
defensive
adjacent to an enemy.
orders, right?
Yep.
And I don't know that I have a reason to move anybody else per se right now. I don't think I can do anything productive with them. So the question is, what do we do to have a little bit of fun? Well, maybe we have some fun with Markov. We'll try that. Let's see. We will.
Sounds like a book. Fun with Markov.
Fun with Markov, indeed. So we'll grab it. We're going to give Markov the activation, and we are going to attack because we're under the attack movement. So why not attack?
All right.
Yeah. So these guys, it's going to cost them 1, 2, 3, 4 to move into that hex from what I'm looking at.
I think you're correct.
Yeah. And these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4 for them to move there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these guys can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 gets them there. And then what do we want to do? I guess we'll push these guys forward and maybe we'll change their orientation slightly. So we have something that's looking. This is the one thing that I miss or or am less than happy about in the game is that we don't have the refuse to flank type of a thing like we
Yes,
have in the others.
I think that that's coming, but I don't know. Got to wait till 1.5, which is apparently imminent.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So, yeah, it would be nice if they had that.
Uwe
So,
has really organized his releases so that they're all hitting one after another. He's kind of a Napoleonic commander there, isn't he? He's got the Commander series, he's got the Patriots and Traders, and he's got Assault, all shipping within the same month.
yeah, I haven't. I had ordered Patriots and Traders or 1793 or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I've ordered the one the Commanders one.
right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing those. The Commanders one looks really neat. I mean, I've got let's see, at least one of the Pub Battles games. I think Pub Battles Austerlitz, and so it looks a lot like a sort of a pub battle type of thing. I've also got um, a Marengo and another Austerlitz game that has sort of like block pieces and whatnot. So I kind of like that. It kind of has a miniature-esque feel to it, and it has a nice look to it. So I'm curious to see. I haven't read through the
Yep.
rules. I know they posted the rules online, but haven't haven't had a chance to
Uh,
do much.
my eyes exceed my capacity to learn, so I'm holding off on all of them. But one of my players that I play with has bought the Commanders, Battle Commander,
Okay.
and he's anxious to play that. So I
Yeah.
would
Well,
like to
that
get
looks
a
like fun.
feel of that.
All right. Well, I've got all of these guys here ganging up on you there.
All right.
No
Well,
big
good. So
surprise.
so I'm going to start my defensive fire here because this guy
Okay.
is adjacent to a unit being assaulted, and he doesn't have to divide his fire. So we're going to go with column. So it's times 2. So it's 4. Let's go look at the chart and make sure that I'm doing this right. Okay.
Yep. And you get a +1 for defensive fire.
Yep. So
And yep, that's it.
yeah, it's 4 plus 1. I think that's right. And I won't find the values on the assault table. Oh,
A
yeah.
12.
Nice.
Okay, so
Okay.
that's a single hit. All right.
Well,
SP loss.
that's more than that. That's on a 13. Oh, it's a 13. You're right. Sorry. Yep, good.
Yeah, because you're just on the 2 chart.
No, I've got 2. Am I only on 2 chart? Am I only on 2 chart? You're
Well,
right.
you're
I
in
am.
column, right?
So yeah, you're right. So it's 1 column, 2 points. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, if you were
So
on the
1
4
point.
chart, that would be a different story.
Yeah, you want to just count that one again. So I did, and you're right. Usually these things don't make a difference one way or the other, but yes,
Yeah.
you're right.
So then now this guy's once again on the 2 chart, or he has 2 factors. He's got to split it.
So
What
I'm
do you
going to
do when
take.
you split it 3 ways? I guess you have to split it.
You can't.
Yeah.
So this guy's taking a hit, so I'm not going to worry about him.
Yeah.
And this guy is going to take one, and this the other one. So I'm going to fire
Okay.
so that each one will have an opportunity of taking 1 loss.
Sure.
This is the second one and the third one. So they both fail.
Okay.
So all my defensive fire is done.
Okay. So now we add up our stuff. So I've got 11 plus 12. So I'm at 23. Plus another 4 is 27. And you are at 13. So it's 2 to 1. So that's a -1 on the die roll. Okay. So for the odds, it's -1. Now we go over to the defending unit chart. You're not under any orders. You are not Russian. You're not being attacked through the flank. You are being attacked by more than 1 hex, so that's another -1. So you're at -2. Infantry in line assaulted by infantry in column. Infantry in column assaulted by infantry in line. So you're being assaulted by some people in line and some people in column. What's the reading on that?
That's a good question. My understanding, and I will stand corrected on this without any shame, is that you pick the more advantageous to the defender
Okay.
in this case.
So that's going to give you a +1. Whoops.
Yep.
A +1. So now
And if
we're
you
at
just wanted
just
to do on
a
average, you've got
-1 net.
right, you got 4/5 of your infantry is in line and 1/5
Yeah.
is in column. So
Yeah. Well, and that's why I was like, it gets really gamey. You just throw one guy in column kind of thing, and you get the benefit of it. All right, and
right.
then assaulting units. I don't know that I have anybody who's elite in this group. Nope, they all look like they're normal people, even though they're grenadiers.
I think all the
I
elites
did
are
take
in
a
essence.
loss, so that is going to be a +1. So we're at 0. No pluses, no minuses from the looks of it. Am I correct?
I think you are correct.
Okay.
Roll high.
So yeah, here we go. A 5.
No, you didn't do that.
Yeah.
All right, no
Sorry.
thanks.
Next time.
No, what goes around comes around. Remember that.
There we go.
Okay, so I'm going to take an SP loss on both of them, and they have to go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Visit exciting Rothanen. Okay, now this guy has to do his stand check. So his stand check is that he is next door one retreated, so that's a -1.
Right. There's no enemy cavalry nearby, so it looks like a -1.
Yep. So I need to roll a 7 or less. Yeah, I'm good.
You pass that. Oh, and I forgot I had a +2 for my leader. So, oh well, it
Oh
doesn't matter.
shoot,
It
but
was,
that wouldn't affect it because you
yeah,
got
I still rolled well
E1
enough.
anyway.
Okay. All right. So now I have to advance into the hex, and I will put that guy there, and do I
You
get to
can change. Yeah.
change? I do or do not change my orientation.
You may change your facing absolutely, and I wanted to state that, but you figured it out.
Okay. Yeah. Does everybody or just the guy that went in?
Just the guy that went in.
Okay. Cool. All right.
I think that the basis here is that the guy that went in is moving, so he can change.
Yeah.
The other guys are not moving, so they can't change.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. So that was that little chit. Do we have time for one more?
We have 19 minutes if you want to be on your schedule. I think we have time for one more.
Okay, let's do one more. So
Oh, it's
we're
a blue.
back to the bag. Okay. It's
Okay,
one
so
for the
what do I got?
baddies.
Okay, and I want to do this. Go back here. I'll drag him out.
So it's going on the 1st Dragoon Division.
No, I'm just dropping it there. It should
Oh,
go up
okay.
here. Sorry, I'm thinking. I didn't have a lot of that. The thought there. We're going to go for the 2nd Division, 4th Corps.
Okay, and were those the guys that I just attacked?
Yeah,
or are they
that's
somebody
the guys
else?
you just attacked.
Okay,
Nope,
cool.
You guys just attacked. Okay, so we're going to go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, right, because it cost you an extra one to move into the Zoc.
Right.
Okay.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, but he had a 7. Let me recount that one. Hold on. So, because I want to get him one further. Okay. So then that's 1, 2, 3. No, it's not going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That will work. I'm going to turn him that way. And then this guy's going to turn. And this guy's going to go 2, 3, 4. And he should be 6. He's 6, 5, 6.
Yep.
There we go. And then this guy here goes 6. 1, 2, 3.
Oh no, he only moves 3 because he was out of command range at the beginning of the activation.
He's got to get back into command range, so that's as far as he can go.
Okay. Yep.
I didn't realize there was a rule on losing movement points being out of command, but that's good for me. That's all
Is
really
it?
want in it.
I seem to recall something where if they were out of command, they had to move back into it, but I didn't think that they have their full movement.
Okay.
But
I'm not sure. I really don't know. So let's go.
but then again, I could be confusing it with Battles of the Age of Reason, where they have that rule. So that is the downside of playing 5 different games with all the different rules in your brain.
If you type in PDF out of command, it finds all the instances of. That's not very useful. Command range is 11. No, that's not it. Division leaders in 12. Okay, so if we can take the, you know what, I'm happy with the move. Let me look it up afterwards. I think it's worth doing, but I think that right now I prefer to keep moving, and that's a good spot for me. I'm good. So, and well, in fact, that's it. So I'm done.
Okay, cool.
We are now on the couple-minute warning. So
yeah, no, we're fine. Let's go ahead. Let's do combat. We should be able to resolve it. Piece of cake.
All right.
I presume you're attacking me.
One may presume. All right, I'm going to attack. I got it. Wow, that's a big battalion. This 24, 27, 37, 36. 30. Wow. I'm going to attack these guys here, here, and here against you.
Okay, so
and
all
I'm going to
three
start there,
of them.
and I'm going to go here to there. So I got 2 assaults.
Okay, all right.
You got defensive fire.
So let's. Which one did you want to resolve first?
I'd like to resolve this one first.
The one out there. Okay, well then we'll do our fire. So we'll have these chaps firing you there. So we're on the 2 chart. We get a +1 for defensive fire. And that's it from what I can see.
I think so.
Okay, so here we go. Let's roll. And that's going to be a miss. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead, and I guess, so you've got 18 to 4. You've got 4 to 1 odds. So there's a -3, right? I'm Russian, so that's a +1. So we're at a -2. Square formation, no. You didn't take any losses. So it looks like it's just a -2 on the die roll.
I think that's correct.
Okay, go ahead. A 12 -2 is a 10. That is a passing one for me. So you're going to take a loss, I guess, and we both stare at each other.
That's it.
Okay, now the next one.
I should have made you retreat there. Okay.
Well,
all right.
It's machinations of fate.
Fate. Okay, so
all right. So now I've got my defensive fire, right? So this guy can fire here, and then now this guy, he can only fire at these 2, right? Because this guy's in his flank, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. So we'll have this guy fire here. That's easy enough to do. So that's going to be 8 and a +1 for it being defensive fire. And nothing else. Okay, here we go. That's going to be a 10.
That's 1.
So that's a hit.
Is it 2?
On the 8 chart, a 10 is a single hit.
Okay.
It's close, but no cigar. Okay, and then the other one will fire here. It's going to be the same thing, an 8 with a +1.
Well, he has to divide his fire.
Oh, he's got to divide his fire.
He's the assaulted one. Yeah.
Okay, so this one, so I've got to, let me figure it out. So I've got 8 points. So I could be on the 2 chart and I could be on the 6 chart if I split it that way. So
or 2 on the 4 chart.
Yeah. Okay. So I will do a 2 on this guy, so he's already gotten hit, and then I'll do the 6 on that one. So for the 2, that's a miss. And then for the 6 chart, that's a 7.
Goes up to an 8.
Becomes an 8. So that's enough for a single hit.
Oops, did the wrong thing. Okay, so you can take the combat on this guy. So it is 9 and 6 is 15, and 16 is 31, plus 2 is 33, plus 8 is 41.
So you have 41 increments there attacking me?
I think so. Let me do this math again, because I'm not a math guy.
Yeah, we got
9 plus 6 is
16,
15.
24, that's going to be 26, 26 plus 15, that's going to be, 41. And I've got 12, so you're at 3-to-1 odds. So you're going to have a -2 for the odds, okay? Then we go over, I'm Russian, so that's +1. So now we're just at a -1. I'm being charged from more than 1 hex, and now we're back up to -2. I'm being charged through a flank, so that's we're up to -5 now. Infantry in line assaulted by infantry in column. That's another -1, so we're up to -6. And then when we're looking at you did lose combat SP, so that's going to be -6 goes down to -5. And then our leaders are both of the same caliber, so that's.
But the leader only applies to the assaulting infantry.
Oh, it doesn't apply to both people. Okay, so then that pushes you up to a -7. I thought the leader would help on the defense as well, but no, you're right.
Yeah, I know. It's just on that one chart. I think that's something that they were going to clarify too. But
okay,
I think leaders on defense are pretty important.
I would think so too. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I put him there, was so that he could, inspire the troops. But c'est la vie. Okay, so it's almost guaranteed. It's in fact guaranteed that I'm going to lose, because it doesn't matter what you roll.
And I rolled a really crappy roll too, but I still won.
Yeah, but with a -7, it's kind of hard to deal with that. So they're going to go back. So let's move the leader off so I can highlight them. I got to take my losses here. SP loss, bing. And they've got to go back, it looks like 4. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll go back that way. Cool. And then it's your turn. Or to advance, I guess, if you want to. Are you there?
Choose not to advance.
Yeah. That's why I was asking if you wanted to.
Yep.
So.
Because my thought, if you're watching, is that if I advance here, then I'm putting myself in the same position that we did here with Eric. So there's no point in having something sticking out to be hit by 3 units.
Right. You basically become a little salient there that gets pinched.
Yeah. That could still happen given these guys, but I'm happy.
Yeah. No, and that's it's kind of good to know. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, and this is where the French having these large battalions, particularly the way that the combat is set up, are particularly effective because then you can just come and slam people and get these big odds modifiers. But then you don't really suffer from the fire combat, So that's where I'm kind of like, you've got basically nearly 2,000 men charging forward, and there should be a modifier of some sorts so that you have that. But it looks like even with the artillery, you get a little bit of a modifier for them being in column, but that could just be one increment in column, or it could be 20 increments in column. There doesn't seem to be any any penalty for being a big fat target. So
there's a small penalty for being big fat in front of artillery. Otherwise, there's a lot of benefits to it.
Okay. Hey, we got a Mark Trowbridge signing in. He says,
Hi,
"Hi,
Mark.
guys." He says, "Late to the party, just got home from work here in the UK. My name is Mark, and I'm one of the chaps working on version 1.5 with Uwe. It's so close to release. The updated CRTs went off for final review today." Well, very good. Well, Mark, we're looking forward to that. As soon as it comes out, we will start adopting it in some way, shape, or form here with this game. But I'm getting a little bit more of a feel for it. It's a little bit of a sort of a slog fest over here, but the Matt is teaching me how this works. So I'm getting a better sense of how the game goes. So cool. All right. Well, I think we're right up towards the end of our 2-hour session here. My dog keeps coming saying, "Why aren't you playing with me? Why aren't you taking me for a walk?" And
isn't it weird how dogs know time better than we do?
They do. They're like, "Hey, it's I got up at about 5:45 today, and the dog just decided to stay in bed." But in the last half hour, I keep getting, and it's a big 95-pound German Shepherd. So when she wants something, she's going to get something.
Not subtle, huh?
No, not subtle at all. So, all right. Well, very cool. I'll go ahead and wrap things up here, and that should take care of it. And then next week is Christmas holidays and stuff like that. I may or may not be available next Thursday. I don't know what your availability is, but if you are, maybe we
technically
can.
I'm working, but I don't really have to do anything except monitor things. So
Okay. Well, cool. Maybe we can get together in the morning again and push some virtual
Up to
counters
you.
around. Yeah.
I would like that.
Yeah, no, this has been
Nice
fun.
more cardboard ears.
Exactly. Okay, everybody who's been tuning in, thanks for watching. And once again, this is Eylau 1807 from Sound of Drums Games. And hopefully you'll have a chance to see us learn how to play the game some more next session. Be well.